So here we are into the picks and bans of the first game of the grand finals here at, I think it's the Edmonton Open. Yeah, the Edmonton Open. We like to keep it classy down here. We're starting it off with an Akali ban against the purple team. I guess that's a target against Vankara. His Akali play isn't that good, but I mean, he dabbles, you know? I'm just kidding.
It's showcased last match they played, definitely made him earn it, so V-ban coming out from the purple team along with the Hecarim ban.
They seem like quite standard bans. I don't think either of them is targeted, although the Anivia does seem to be targeted at Nundo. And the Thresh ban. I think that might be targeted at Fupus, judging by the reaction he just gave me behind me. So, waiting on the third ban. I think it might be something else, very general. Might be a Shen. Jarvan, another thing I can think of.
Yeah, Jarvan and Zhao probably just looking to get rid of offensive jungles.
Oh, there's the Malphite for some reason. Oh, I guess they did see the AoE comp that this team ran a while ago. Not confident in their AD carry's ability to flash the Malphite ult. Understandable, Samuel's skill cap isn't very high.
And it's not like Nundo can really play Orianna either, so...
So, waiting on the first pick, it is going to be MF, so it does look like they're going to go for that AoE comp. I do not expect a Janna or anything to counter that from the support. He's more of an aggressive player. Nundo gets his Rise though. That's usually banned out against him. It's surprising they would ban Anivia, but leave the Rise up. We'll see what the second pick is. I'll imagine it will be a Shen in the jungle. But, yeah, go ahead.
Well, Kimchi's been liking their Shen in the jungle a lot.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely taking their time on this pick. It could be the support coming out, possibly a Taric or a Blitzcrank. Sona also another possibility. Those are the only three aggressive enough for this player's playstyle. And it goes with a Draven. So, interesting. They countered the MF with the Draven. I can see this working definitely. The E does stop the MF ulti, the aggression. I would say Draven is even more aggressive than Misfortune.
Oh, most definitely, and I can see the blue team picking up Taric on this next group of picks.
Actually, I think they'd pick something even more AoE-centric than Taric. Maybe something like a Sona, I could imagine. Or even a Lulu. They did do a Lulu a while ago, a J4, yep. They're definitely going with AoE. I expect Lulu to come out for the support pick. Not positive here. Of course, they could change it around. Orianna is something they're known to run. Yep, yeah. Definitely coming up with a Lulu. Just waiting for the lock-in on this. Hecarim is down, Malphite's down. So Jarvan does seem to be the jungler of choice here.
Yeah, I've seen him played throughout most games during the tournament. You think Fabuz is going to pick up Taric?
I'm not sure. They could go for Taric. He does play a lot of Taric, so it's definitely possible. I do think they're going to pick their support in this turn. I'm surprised they haven't pulled out a Shen yet. So there goes the Sona. And a Lee Sin. He did play Lee Sin earlier in this tournament. I don't remember how that went for him, but clearly they won as they are in the grand finals. But I figured he'd go for more of a tanky jungler like Shen. I mean, this is a decent disengage. Lee Sin's kick does cancel the AoE for the most part. You could kick someone into MF and that would completely shut all that down. And it's a good disengage altogether.
Also, the attack speed's slow on his E.
Yeah, definitely. And Misfortune players don't usually invest in attack speed in the first place either, so that would slow it down even further. So I guess he is going to stick with the Lee Sin. That's really interesting. I thought he was more of a tank jungler player than a carry jungler. Our Renekton coming out very popular in this tournament, very popular in League of Legends as of now. And the Orianna, we saw it before, we'll see it again. This is the AoE comp, more or less, that they've been running this whole tournament. It's been working so far. Let's see if they can get them through the grand finals.
And Vankara brought up earlier that he was going to play Jace, although not a big fan of him. He said he was going to do it, so let's see if he sticks with that.
I don't think Jace into Renekton would be that great of a choice. Into Renekton, I'm not entirely sure. Shen again would be a good choice. Jax, if he can make it past the first 6 levels. Elise is up. That's definitely something you go into. It's interesting because we're seeing all these picks like KO, Zed, Elise that are usually banned, and Shen that are usually banned, but they're not being picked up this tournament. Like KO completely untouched, Elise so far untouched in the whole tournament. Shen, it's been picked a few times, and there's the Zed. I'm not sure if the Zed will necessarily win against the Renekton. At level 6, Renekton gets a huge power spike, so you'll have to watch out for that, but he is a skill player. If he believes in his skills, so will I. And those seem to be the final rosters.
We have the swaps coming out. Barrier on Misfortune, not that surprising for me. Summoners look relatively normal.
How do you think the mid lane's gonna fare?
I think, if anything, both of them are going to be looking to farm it out early. I mean, you're going to see slight harassment, but beyond that, I don't think anyone's going to be going in for a kill necessarily until level 5 or 6 once those ultimates come out.
Really? I feel like Rise is actually going to go really aggressive on Orianna. That's everyone on that team, aside from maybe K for Kimchi, has a really aggressive playstyle. I'm not that sure about Vankara either, but everyone else generally plays pretty aggressively. I've seen Inunda, flash in with the Rune Prison QE and lay down the Ignite at like level 4. So
yeah, actually, I was talking to him about it earlier, and level 4 is the time when he does like to surprise people with the burst that Rise can bring out.
Something that he has to watch out for, though, is being baited into flashing forward and then just getting ganked right away.
Yeah, we'll see. Looking at the lanes, though, I think that J4 is going to want to try and stop some of the aggression that bot lane is going to be putting out with that Draven pick.
Possibly, yeah. A big downfall of the purple team AD carry is that sometimes he can go a little over-aggressive. A few games ago, we did see him flashing directly into a counter gank. He survived it, but nonetheless, it's a very aggressive playstyle. I guess you could say it's high risk, high reward. And most of the time, he benefits a lot from it. But if the Jarvan's going to be camping there as you predict, then we'll definitely see a lot of potential for success in the blue team bot lane.
Most definitely. For both of these bot lanes, it's more or less a case of whoever's able to snowball first is going to come away with.
When it comes down to experience, though, I know for a fact that Samuel and Fupus have been playing for well over a year by now together, so they have a lot of experience together. I'm not so sure about Futsushi and Platinum is Gold. So that's something that'll definitely come into play, being able to read your partner's, basically thoughts, when they're going to go in, how they're going to go in, what they're going to do.
Yeah, I definitely see them being able to establish control earlier in the lane.
Do you think we'll see any level 1 invades?
If we're going to see a level 1 invade, I imagine seeing it from the purple team onto the blue buff. I don't really see blue looking to invade on purple team's red.
What's something that this purple team specifically does is they'll all group at their own rates. All 5 members group at their own rates and take the rates as soon as they spawn, then head straight to the enemy's blue. It's a bit of a delayed invade. And while the enemy mid laner is leashing the blue, they'll all jump on him and just get first blood that way, take their blue, and then go on their merry way. So we'll see if they pull out something like that.
Yeah, something like that would definitely help the early game, and I mean, getting one of your carries an early kill, never a bad thing.
Yeah, they do have the Draven stand aside as well as the Rise Rune Prison to facilitate for that CC. So interesting setups here. It's actually pretty nice to see Jarvan back into the jungle. There was a long time past Season 2, or into Season 2, that he was actually getting not played at all.
Back then it was mostly because that he had a pretty slow clear time, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so too. He wasn't that strong. People experimented with starting with Vamp Scepter, and now since Hunter's Machete is in the game, it really helps out a lot of the junglers that weren't getting it. And we see a triumphant rise from Nundo as my client minimizes for no reason. There we go. So the border wars definitely going to the bottom team. 5 plants against 4 silvers and a gold. But the style layout, I've got to give those points to the top team. You know, you got the 2 silvers on the sides and the gold in the middle, showing off a little bit of their bling.
And I mean, even the way the characters are facing, you have top kind of lined up.
Exactly.
Bot lanes or bot screens just everywhere.
And we are into the game, and there is an instant pause. And we got some YOLOs coming out. So, someone's computer seems to have disconnected. Yeah, Foot Sushi's computer apparently shut off. So, we'll just be waiting for him to get back any moment now. And a few things going on in chat that most people probably wouldn't like to see. And let's see, we have an early Fortitude pot being bought by Zed, and this was a hot topic this weekend. A lot of people talking about, you know, the top laners starting with the Fortitude pod, the AD carry starting with the Fortitude pod. Where do you stand on the Fortitude pod?
I think the Fortitude pot works really well if you think you're going to be facing early aggression. It's a really good way to bait everything out. Like, once your opponent blows everything in a close trade, that Fortitude pot, the extra 200 health, or...
It's like 125 health and 15 AD.
Yeah, 120 health at level 1 plus 15 AD is an instant change for the close battles that you face at early levels.
And if you're going to be aggressive as well, I think it's a really good decision. Lately we haven't been seeing... Like, previously we haven't been seeing too many AD carries do it, but lately it's coming more and more into the scene. I think we saw a few people do it in this tournament, as well as just in League of Legends, the game in general. A lot of people are starting to bust out the Fortitude pots. A while ago, I think we even saw mid laners starting with the Brilliance pot, as we have the unpause going down. Looks like the teams are grouping up. So we do see some pings onto the bottom tri-bush. Apparently someone's retarded. Yeah, it looks like the purple team is going to be going in for an invade, but the blue team surely will get there before them.
Yeah, we have a blue team spreading out, just basic defensive formation.
Yeah. Don't start anything.
Yeah, usually we saw this 2-1-2 formation in back in Season 2. Yeah, so MF does spot them all coming in here. A bit of a failed invade, but things could still sprout.
Yeah, I'm going to be curious if 2 blue teams can try and counter on the red. But I mean, no ward in the bottom try. MF was there.
Honestly, I don't think they're going to invade, because the blue team's going to be invade, because these 2 teams have faced off in the past, and it was quite a convincing victory for the purple team. So I think they are a little bit intimidated, a little bit in a state of shock, I guess you could call it. Basically, they don't want to fight them or give them any kind of early advantage. They just want to play it safe right now. Maybe farm it into the early game and possibly take them out with the team fights or maybe some cheese strats.
You know, play their own style and try not to fit into purple's team style too much.
Standard starts. Lee Sin starting with blue. Looks like he will be getting an early red and then I assume ganking mid. Ryze has a lot more kill potential early game than Zed does. And Orianna is generally way easier to kill than Renekton. And we see Lulu getting quite low off of the golems. However, that is going to give an advantage to the blue bottom side. An early level advantage. Jarvan just finishing up his blue as well as Lee Sin. Both on their way to red now.
Yeah, I think we're going to see actually Lee Sin go mid, and we might see Jarvan go for that early bot, because I mean, they have that Tribush warded and they'll be able to tell if a ward comes out. And if Sona doesn't make her way up there, I think Jarvan's going to be looking to make his way down.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that he hasn't gone to do a ward yet. This is exactly what I mean. They play very aggressively. It's fairly early into the game. Granted, it would be abnormal for the... Oh, I just noticed he went for rates before red, so that's kind of uncommon. Usually when you get a smiteless leash, you just go straight to the red and then gank, not bothering with the rates. But yeah, so I guess that does slow him down a little bit. Fupus did go to ward just now.
And we do see,
Oh man, that was a lot of chunk onto Sona.
Oh dear, and we see Sona just flashed
almost
out.
Going down. And not going down. Wow, this is amazing. Very aggressive plays from the blue bottom team. Draven getting the first blood. I think this is going to be a double kill. A flash coming out, followed up by another flash, and there's the double kill. A wonderful bait by the support. Great plays made.
I don't necessarily agree with that play. I mean, MF had forced Sona
that was
back.
a bit too greedy.
Yeah, that's definitely the word for it.
I mean, you don't want to be taking those risks, especially against a Draven. I mean, he's just Draven's so hard to lane against in the first place. Now with that, he's just so strong.
Definitely one of the hardest snowballing AD carries in the game, if not the hardest.
I'm surprised that MF has actually kept them up in levels. They're both level 3. I expected MF to come back maybe level 2, not get the level 3 so fast, since Draven got experience for 2 kills and MF didn't get any experience for any kills. Gonna lose a lot of creeps here though.
She did have a small makeup with the golems at level 1.
Right, that explains it. Zed doing pretty well in the top lane. As I say that, they get very aggressive. Good trading by both players. However, Zed does have the Fortitude Potion advantage. Not popping it yet for some reason.
Oh.
Now popping it. This is very dangerous though, and he goes down. A very nice play by Renekton.
I think a slight miscalculation. I believe the Ignite was still up on him, and that does reduce the amount given by the fort pot.
I feel like he didn't take into account the minion damage. That's what a lot of people... a mistake a lot of people make. They just think it's like, it's a 1-on-1 lane, no other variables in the matchup, and then all of a sudden you realize you lost all your HP to minions.
Yeah, and that's one of the things about fighting, when you have like 1.5, 2 minion waves stacked up.
A wonderful Q by Lee Sin and double flash by the Ryze and the Orianna. Exactly the aggressive style I was mentioning earlier.
And we have Ryze taking 2 tower hits as well. A little bit of unnecessary damage.
That aggressive playstyle. But Orianna is quite right now, so I guess he can't afford to do that. MF forced out of lane. And Lulu getting zoned right now by the Sona. So it feels like a bit of a repeat of the previous bout between these two giants. It would be the bottom lane getting quite far ahead very early into the game.
Yeah, and that's all having to do with Draven getting those early kills.
Very true. Samuel tends to play a lot of these snowbally kind of early game aggressive AD carries like Draven, MF, or Twitch, and there's another kill onto Lulu. Just you can't underestimate that damage.
And I actually just realized this, but if you look at the red side of the jungle for the blue team, they actually have complete vision right now of it.
Oh wow, that's amazing. They're completely in control of this game right now. 1.8k gold deficit at only 7 minutes into the game. And that's 3 kills on the AD carry already. And farming pretty well too.
12 CS up over MF, and top lane's also starting to spread the lead. And once again, I mean, the first time these teams met, the mid lanes were relatively close for the most part.
Yeah, I think the big thing that sets the teams apart is the bottom lane. The junglers as well, obviously, K for Kimchi being a Diamond 1 jungler. Very well known on the North American servers. We're from our own little abode in Edmonton.
And
Rise
we have
almost getting the kill. Very close.
Yeah, they're kind of just looking to start starving blue team early. I mean, they're losing control of all of their jungle, and that's going to make J4's life a lot harder. It's going to make pretty much everyone's life relatively harder.
I feel like Orianna could have just ulted Rise right there and killed him. I don't understand why he didn't. He had Ignite. Rise doesn't have Ignite. And see, he could have done just like that, but he was in a way safer position. I guess there's that experience coming to play. And another kill for Draven. Let's see how much gold he's sitting on. 1700 gold. That's going to be a straight BF sword right off the bat. That's painful. That's gonna leave a mark.
Yeah, that's definitely MF. I don't believe is relatively close to her BF sword right now, so
Not at all. Yeah, she'd have to be using her total gold to purchase that BF sword because she's only sitting at 149 right now.
and this is what we talked about pre-game, is pretty much the early snowball leading into complete lane control.
Yeah, definitely. Top lane also seems to have equalized a little bit, just that early mishap going on. As I see that, Renekton does get very aggressive on Zed. However, Zed is not a champion necessarily built for the lane phase. He excels more in the late game, kind of split pushing. There's really no one that can 1v1 a Zed past like the 30-minute mark or something like that. And I think this is going to be another kill for Draven. That's just such aggressive play.
His ulti's down and MF is going to make it out of there, but this is just turning into Draven being able to out-level, out-CS.
Yeah, exactly. Pushing them out of lane by now is essentially the same as getting the kill. They're not worth as much gold anymore, and they're missing just as much CS, as much money, experience.
And we have Lee Sin heading top. Renekton does have it warded, so he should be okay.
He does go to fight Lee Sin, or he doesn't run from Lee Sin. And he does kick him back. Oh, I guess he was going to fight him. And Lee Sin does go down. Orianna falling up.
Oh,
and Renekton
dear.
lives. Quite the outplay here in top lane.
And we see Draven and once again just complete domination over the bottom
just
lane.
behind the second tower.
And they're really not looking to take this tower right now, or at least it seems. They're pretty much just looking to starve bot lane out.
I mean, at this point in the game, I think they could just snowball. Like, I don't think it even matters how well the other top and mid do. It's just bot lane. The Draven is so strong right now.
Raven's making it.
I mean, Draven is doing extremely well, but if Renekton is going to be capable of jumping onto him with an Orianna ball, Draven's not going to have the survivability to really put out with the burst.
That's true. Here we see an MF ult. You see, that just shows the power of MF. Even though she is behind, she's still dealing a lot of damage. And Blue almost won that team fight.
And
But here comes Zed. And a little bit of a misplay by K for Kimchi getting caught. I don't know, these fights are getting kind of sloppy.
yeah, I'm not really quite sure what was going on there, but
I mean,
little
these guys,
confused at
they're-
the choices.
I think they're getting a little overconfident.
well, I mean, no lane is extremely far ahead as opposed to bot lane, and bot lane wasn't partaking in any of that. They were
Exactly. They were low mana, low health.
the ones kind of, hey guys, we need to get out of here.
Yeah. Also, Zed used his ulti on like a 2 HP target. I feel like he could have gotten a lot more out of it. Just a Q would have been sufficient to kill that person.
Definitely, and we have Draven with the Bloodthirster compared
A
to
very early Bloodthirster.
yeah, Boots 2 and Vamp Scepter as well as Adorn's Blade on MF.
However, that Renekton is quite strong right now, I have to say. Rushing the early Sunfire Cape, possibly a Randu and Zomin right after. That might slow down Draven a bit.
And that's the thing right now is Ryze is a really late game character, and they're going to be able to build AP to try or armor to try and deduct from what Draven can do in this early to mid game stage, because Ryze isn't necessarily getting a huge lead on anyone on the opposing team.
And so much damage coming out of Draven, and there's another kill. A flash by Sona, unneeded. Scumbag trying to KS that kill. But it's all in good fun. I think they realize they're quite ahead in the bottom lane right now.
It's surprising that 13 minutes into this game, there's only a 1.3k gold lead as opposed to what the numbers were last game.
That's very true. I think last game they didn't even break 4 kills or something like that.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
And I think we're going to see another kill here on
an aggressive
Draven.
flash, and there we go. Another kill for Draven. Getting very powerful very early into the game.
Yeah, we see him with the same amount of kills as the blue team has amassed as a team. So,
yeah, a 4k lead this early into the game. That's gonna be hard to come back from. I mean, they need a few good team fights, and their late game isn't looking so hot either because they've got Ryze on the enemy team and Zed. There's gonna be no one that's gonna be able to answer them later on.
yeah, and you're going to be able to see Zed just completely, during team fights, get to that MF, take her out, get to the Orianna, take her out, go where he needs to go and kill who he needs to kill.
So it seems like bottom's gonna try to be freezing. Renekton is trying really hard to stop this guy from backing. I don't think that's really necessary.
I think Renekton just feels like he has an edge on him right now, and
I agree,
he wants
but
to keep him up there.
Since he's winning, but his team's losing, so in my opinion, it would be better to take that tower and go down and help. Ryze is very prone to ganks, especially now that his flash is down for the next I don't know how many seconds, but around 40 seconds, I would imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, and right now mid's unwarded. I mean, Jarvan may be looking to make a play, but blue side does see Lee Sin with that Wraith ward.
I mentioned this earlier, but what do you think about how ever since the Oracle's nerfs, teams have been feeling less inclined to get that early Oracles? What part do you think that plays into the current metagame?
I think it really goes to show whatever team does choose to ward more does get a heavier advantage, because before it was more based on taking away your enemy's vision, and the game now is more so giving yourself the vision.
You think so? How about all these teams? They're like, pink wards are really favored recently.
I think it's just the stationized clear. I mean, I believe Oracles is a better investment than 3 pink wards, but that's more so in a later game setting, because during the mid game you want main objectives and get like places where the jungler or where people would be looking to come gank or kind of surprise in a team fight come from. Those are the places where you only want vision. You're not looking to clear vision from an entire area early, and getting those core items, your main items early in the game, are, I believe, more important than the 400 gold.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
As we see the mid turret going down, surprisingly it's only the second turret of the game. I thought this game was progressing a lot faster than it actually is. So definitely a chance for the blue team to come back. They are by no means behind. A good team fight completely swing this whole game into a different light. As we see Nunda going very aggressive on this Orianna, Jarvan coming in from the other side, and he dives and gets the kill on Orianna.
Yeah, and we saw Orianna miss her ulti there, and I mean, I don't think that would have saved her, but the extra damage would have been nice as Renekton was coming in to look to make a play.
That's kind of embarrassing. I mean, the two tanky, beefy guys just went up to Ryze to get, I guess, a revenge kill, and they were getting 2v1.
And that's how strong Ryze is right now. I mean,
exactly.
As he's starting to scale up, and I mean, he's now ahead of both Jarvan and Renekton.
Yeah. So you gotta be worried when a late game carry like Ryze is already hitting such a strong point at only 18 minutes into the game. As we see Zed going very aggressive.
Little bit of misplay. He's gonna clone out and then pop his flash as well.
Does not pick up the kill on MF. Actually didn't do anything to MF. I thought he would do a lot more damage than that, but I was mistaken. As we see some aggression from the blue team onto the purple team at the bottom side of the map, but Draven turns it around, flashes the Orianna ulti, very nice play, however gets caught in the end. Nevertheless, showing his mechanics. And then Sam raging in the background because he's bad.
We're gonna see blue team pick up a dragon here. Actually, no, they're going to choose to back out, and I believe they're gonna be looking to go
And
after
Ryze with a cheesy pickup kill. Will Lee Sin be able to outsmite? Yes, he will. A very early smite by Jarvan. I think he was just eyeballing that. I don't think he actually tried to smite it.
I think, like, eyeballing it out and in the midst of the panic of kinda, oh, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna try and get this before I die.
Yeah.
But, I don't agree with everyone peeling off a dragon right there. I mean, Lee Sin was on the other side chasing Orianna down. However, giving up Orianna's life in turn for possibly catching Ryze with the 3 or 4 people they had there, as well as the dragon like guarantee, would have been much more worth it for the scenario there.
Yeah, definitely. As we see Ryze going back to base with the 2.5k he was sitting on, so just finished his Manamune and working towards that Haunting Guys. Probably the Liandry's Torment very soon. Lee Sin, for a jungler not even behind on his build, he has a Wriggles Lantern, Brutalizer boots, and a BF sword, so going very offensive builds. You know, I fear that if they don't play this right, all these offensive, really aggressive builds could come back to bite them in the ass.
Most definitely, but I mean, right now, the way the game is shifting in their favor and the way the game is looking to them is they want to get the things necessary to make sure that those comebacks can't happen, to be able to end the game earlier than having to carry on fights and risk the chance of messing something up.
The damage of Ryze showing there, even taking on Renekton, I think he'll be able to, yep, he's gonna get this kill as well. Just amazing.
Red team double kill.
And I don't doubt that he can just keep going. Turn around, you can take him. There we go.
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised he didn't turn the second that J4 kind of just hopped on in there. His team has already turned back.
His Manamune is already at a Muramana. Oh, right. He bought it as... It just
Blue
got
team's
stacked already.
turret has been destroyed.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the part where Ryze tends to get extremely scary.
Yeah,
That's
oh my
just...
god, that damage. And he's not even taking damage from the towers. I mean, that's just insane.
Why, thank you.
And then we have Draven in the bot lane, and I don't think there's even one member on the blue team who can take him on 1v1.
Yeah, I don't think there's anyone that could 1v1 anyone. I mean, I think even the Sona could eventually kite everyone.
Trying to just see Lee Sin sitting in the tower for fun.
That ball actually looks pretty cool in that skin. Looks kind of like a face. I never noticed that before. So some aggression going on to Draven, and that might be his downfall. And excuse me while I eat my words.
Well, Renekton, kind of out of place. I mean,
Yeah.
lone crocodile
You
in a
can tell they're
world.
getting a little desperate here now. So what do you think? If they're going to come back, how would they have to play this? What did you just see that?
Shut down.
I would like to say that they have to turtle it out, but when you look at the other team, that kind of isn't going to work. So you'd have to try and wait for a tower dive, or at least wait for an objective where you'll be able to catch your opponent off guard.
And in the meantime, Rise gets shut down by the Three Musketeers. Something I wanted to point out: Lee Sin almost juked out the Jarvan ulti, but in the most recent patch touch up to Jarvan's ulti, it was a while ago, but they made it so instead of pushing champions out of the ring, pushes them into the ring. So even though he was outside with his ward dash, he got pulled in. So I thought that was kind of funny. And MF chasing onto the support. He could have gotten it, I feel, but decides to play it safe and back off. Doesn't have any wards, doesn't know who could be coming. Smart decision.
And MF used her flash there. I'm not so sure why she would do that, but
Yeah, for a support slash, I don't think it's worth it. And did she just use her ulti for blue?
yeah, she did.
So I guess we're ulting for blue now. I mean,
I think the blue team's just kind of in a state of panic. They're looking for something to do to try and bring themselves back in this, and they're just not able to find it yet.
Leandri's Torment coming out of Rise already. So many big items so early into the game. It's almost like a core build Rise, 24 minutes of the game, which you never want to see. And the Lee Sin, the jungle Lee Sin, wrecking faces, building an Infinity Edge.
You know, that's something you don't really see too often. Bloodthirster, I can see. Infinity Edge.
I think Cruiser the Bruiser did that like every single Lee Sin game a while back.
And we have Infinity Edge, Bloodthirster, Zeal, Draven. Zed finished his Blade of the Ruin King.
And a wonderful combo, actually taking them off guard. And here's what I was talking about. They go really aggressive builds, and then this happens, and I guess it's not the end of the world because Rise is just gonna go around and kill him, and Zed just got tower.
Been destroyed.
And he could just kill him right now. Yep, there we go.
And we're gonna see Zed pick up the kill on MF,
Killing spree.
Wow, Rise didn't get a single one, so that's surprising.
and we should see. Oh, no, we're gonna see Zed back out here. I thought he was gonna try and make a play on the Lulu, but
He could get chased down by this Renekton, actually. Zed, I mean, Renekton's still chasing Zed. Oh, he caught up. A little bit of style coming out of the Zed, but sadly, that's going to be the death of it.
And if you look at the map right now, blue team has no vision on the bottom half, so I'm not quite sure if that's just a lack of warding or if the blue team kind of wants to bring this to the top half of the map and look to try and not force a dragon, but be prepared for when the red team tries to set up for a Baron.
Yep. Lee Sin going very low, chasing a bit too far into the Orianna, and getting kind of pincered in. MF going aggressive, Jarvan EQing in. He could try for the kill here, doesn't have the confidence. Lee Sin's team was very close by if anything were to happen. So smart play by Jarvan for not engaging too far.
Yeah, and I think he wants to save his ult for Draven, kind of keep him away from the team.
Yeah, definitely. Their AoE just did work. The scoreboard tells a different story than the gold count. The purple team is 10k ahead of the blue team, but they're only down 4 kills. So I guess it does give some confidence to the blue team, they definitely have their mind in the right place.
Yeah, and that gold is from 7 towers to 1, red team leading,
Yeah.
as well as a Draven 80 CS up on the MF.
80 CS, oh man. I think they need to start thinking about building a little more tanky though, because you can have as much AD as you want, but at the end of the day, if you can't even survive base damages, what's the use of all that AD?
Oh,
Wow, that chunk. Wonderful team fight by the red team. And that says it all. I mean, everything just happened in a flash. The Ryze AoE went down, the Zed ult went down, the Sona flash ult onto the EMF, and Lee Sin kicking Renekton back into his team, Draven finishing him off, and I think this is going to be 2 inhibs.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
yeah, we're gonna see Zed pick up the bottom inhib, and I mean, they really wanted to. I'm sure that actually I can't even say that nobody's tanky enough to be tanking a turret right now.
Yeah.
Blue team's inhibitor has
And
been
Draven wants them to
destroyed.
come on and play.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Well, I'm almost certainly sure that nobody's gonna want some Draven in
Red
this
team's
next
turret has been
game.
destroyed.
So are you anticipating a Draven ban?
I could see it, or I could see the blue team at least looking for a more passive lane, one that's able to disengage Draven more so.
Lee Sin getting caught a little bit, but he's going to live. I think MF wants to yep, she wants to flash.
Red team has slain the dragon.
Yeah, and that's just the feeling of needing to make something happen. She can't really risk letting someone go if the flash could have picked up a kill.
Bit of a misplay, in my opinion, because that flash has a very long cooldown. They're going for a bit of a desperate Baron. I'm not sure if this will work. Looks like the red team is aware of this. Yep, the Draven ult goes down. They're definitely aware of this. They're not letting up, however. Here we go. They finally get off the Baron. Red team could definitely just turn this around them, and that is exactly what they do. MF getting completely wasted at the very start of the fight. Zed jumping around everywhere. They are not even touching that Draven, and he is 8-2-7 right now. Zed with a double kill, redeeming himself for those early game mishaps. Sona with the slow, Draven with the stand aside, and that's just another kill for Draven.
Ace.
And that's just so much damage coming out, I mean.
And that's going to be the third inhib, and I believe game. They're not even going to go for the third inhib. That is
Blue team's
game
turret
1 to the red
has been
team.
destroyed.
Quite a
Blue team's
quite a
turret
showing
has been
here.
destroyed.
You know, leaving it all on the field, a little bit of friendly banter.
Yeah, and we're gonna see game finishes with a 17,000 gold lead for the red team,
Yeah,
but
so
a lot of that came within the last half of the game. I mean, the blue team, if they were to be able to handle the Draven better early, this could have been an
yeah,
entirely
that Draven
different
just
game.
snowballed right from the start. Just paved the way for his whole team, basically. Where do you think it all started? The whole huge snowball. Was it the Draven at the beginning? Because there were some moments where I felt like they could have come back. You know, Renekton was getting a little bit of kills under his belt.
I do think it was right off the bat, and the consistency in MF using her flash offensively.
Yeah. That early flash getting baited by the Sona, that definitely gave a big advantage to bottom lane, and they just kept snowballing that over and over and over, and it amounted to something so big they just didn't have an answer.
Yeah, and the one thing that would have helped Renekton out a lot is if that MF were to have gotten a little bigger and vice versa. I mean, the Renekton was helping out MF as much as he could have, but it could have been a little more, and if MF had that bit more damage, things would have been a different game.
So that concludes game 1. We'll get into game 2 shortly, and now a word from our sponsors.
What's going on, everybody? Prodigy on the microphone. Once again, congratulations to 5K Crits GG for winning the first game. They are 1 game away from winning the tournament. That's close. That means you might only have 1 game to get your tweets in to win $10 RP. Use hashtag YGOpen to make sure you're following at OK Gaming to enter. If you have Legendary Hunger, be sure to call 780-278-7877. Oodle Noodle will deliver directly to your door. It is fantastic. It is delicious. It is wonderful. Get in the building. Speaking of getting in buildings, Thursday nights at Overclocked is League of Legends night, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. $10 for members, $15 for non-members. Come by, discuss the strategies, meet new players, get your practice on. Get in the building. Be sure to check out Overclocked online at twitter.com/okgaming, facebook.com/overclockgaming. All of the VODs from this event and all of our past events will be on youtube.com/overclocked Edmonton, and more information can be found on overclocked.com. We're going to get Game 2 of the Grand Finals between 5K Crits GG and Amateur Proctologists. Started in just a few minutes here. Again, this could be the last game. If Amateur Proctologists do manage to win the next 2 games in a row, then they will be running it back to a second best of 3. But this is indeed match point for 5K Crits GG. We're going to get that game started right away. We'll be right back.